Eco Center. Welcome back to our virtual reality scientist series, where we meet local scientists here in St. Lucie County and learn about important research that they're doing to help improve the health of our watershed. Today we're going to be learning about something called sargassum. It's a type of algae or plant that lives in the water. This is Dr. Vincent Encomio, and he's going to be teaching us about this watershed topic. Vincent, would you mind introducing yourselves to the students?
Hi everybody, my name is Vincent Encomio, and I am an extension agent for the Florida Sea Grant Program at the University of Florida, IFAS. And I do all of my work on the Treasure Coast, specifically Martin and St. Lucie counties.
Great. So how did you end up in this field as a marine biologist?
Well, I grew up in a very large coastal state, California, but I didn't grow up near the coast. So I didn't really have that background. I was a farm kid. But where I really became interested in the coast is when I went to college in San Diego, near the coast, and I studied biology. And from there I started to realize that I could combine my interest in biology with my love of the coast. And so I started looking into marine science and marine biology programs, got my master's degree further north in California, and then made the big move all the way out to the East Coast for my doctorate degree. And from there, that brought me to Florida. And then on the West Coast at Florida Gulf Coast University, and then here to the Treasure Coast.
Wow, what a journey.
Yeah.
So what do you do for your job, and what's your research like?
So as an extension agent, I provide education to the general public on marine science and topics of important coastal topics to the community that I'm in. And so one of the things that I do a lot of extension education in is harmful algal blooms. And what you see here on the beach is some of that sargassum seaweed, and it's at pretty normal levels right now. But it can get to very high levels where it actually becomes a new harmful algal bloom for this area of the coast. So I'm trying to educate people on it, and we're doing a research project on sargassum as well and how we can utilize it when it does get to those harmful levels.
Okay. So what happens when it becomes harmful? Why is it harmful to us?
Well, it becomes harmful, but sometimes, right now, like I said, the levels there are normal. It's what you would normally see on the beach. But some areas and some certain times of the year, you can get into piles that are a foot or maybe even higher than that.
Oh, wow.
And so the problem with that is it sits on the beach. As it sits in the water a little bit, it starts to decompose, and we're in the summer months, so it gets really hot. And that can really degrade the water quality when that happens. The other times it can also prevent a barrier for either baby sea turtles coming out or the mother sea turtles that are coming in to lay their eggs on the beach. So it really, when it gets to these excessive levels, it can be harmful, and it's a nuisance for beachgoers as well.
Okay, that makes sense. But most of the time it's good for the environment?
Most of the time it's good for the environment. When it's in the water, when this seaweed right here, this sargassum seaweed is in the water, it's an important habitat out in the middle of the ocean for a variety of sea creatures. Some really interesting animals like the sargassum pipefish and the sargassum frogfish, which looks almost exactly as it sounds, like a little frog. It's kind of a neat animal. But also, this is a habitat which helps protect baby sea turtles when they're leaving the nests here on the beach and going out in the middle of the ocean. So it's important in the water, and then when it washes up on the beach, it's also important to the ecology of the beach for the rack lines that you see where the material washes up on the beach, because that provides an important source of nutrients for the beach. And also there's food in there for different animals like shorebirds and crabs that are on the beach.
So when the levels do get high enough that it becomes harmful, what can we do about it? What are you doing with research?
The research project that we're working on is looking at the potential for the sargassum seaweed when it gets really high to compost it. And composting, if you know what composting is, it's the breakdown of natural materials. Usually we use leaves. When you rake up your leaves, we use leaves or food scraps to put those in a compost bin where it breaks down, and then all those nutrients that are result from the breaking down of all that material you can add to your soil, and it's really good to grow plants. So we're trying to see if some of this sargassum can be used as compost to grow plants, and whether it's safe to grow plants that we eat, our fruits and vegetables. So that's the other part, and probably one of the more important questions that we're asking for this project.
That's a really cool project that you're working on. Thanks for sharing that with us. Before we finish today, we have one more question for you. We're wondering if any of the students in this class are interested in becoming scientists one day. Do you have any advice for them?
Yeah, I would say that keep asking lots of questions, have an open mind, really be involved at your school, particularly in science fair projects, because if you have a question that you're always wondering about, you can always do a science fair project on it, and that's really good practice. That's kind of like your first step of learning how to do science, so you can then be a scientist. And I'd also encourage kids to get involved in a lot of the environmental projects that benefit our environment. And there's a number of community science projects in our area where you can be involved in collecting data and working with actual professional scientists to help improve their work as well.
Okay, well, thank you so much. There you have it, guys, from Dr. Vincent Encomio from Florida Sea Grant. Next, we're going to be moving on to our activities, so please take off your VR goggles, set them on your desk, and wait for directions from your instructor.